There are so many different parenting styles.
In order for Eric to be a happy, well-adjusted adult, he has to be miserable now. That's just good parenting.
Tiger parents tend to be strict and hell-bent on success. Helicopter parents hover and micromanage their kids, while lawnmower parents remove everyday challenges to make life easier. Authoritative parenting establishes clear rules, but it's democratic. Kids get a say. There are iPhone 6 parents who are slow to take up new ideas. And uninvolved parenting, as you can imagine, basically leaves kids to figure out life alone. Mommy! The list is endless. Working out what style works for you and having the blimmin' time and patience to do it properly often sees many parents winging it. Dr. Justin Colson's new book takes a scientific approach. He says we should provide structure and be involved, but that good parenting actually gives children more autonomy, not less. Does that mean you're asking kids to, in part, raise themselves?
Well, Dr. Justin Colson, the author of that book, joins us now. Autonomy, Justin, is that the same thing as just saying to the kids, hey, you guys sort it out?
Yes and no, not really. That's independence, Jesse. So independence is when we say, this is on you, it's your life, you figure it out. Supporting kids' autonomy is more of a process of collaborating with them. It's kind of like when you say, okay, you're throwing some really hard stuff my way, you're fighting with your siblings, or you got caught shoplifting, or you did that thing that's a problem, and now that we've got this problem, we're going to work on this together. Not necessarily in the moment, because their brain kind of explodes, but when their brains calm down, we say, all right, I'm going to give you some autonomy to give me an idea of how we're going to figure this out next time so this does not happen again, so we can get better.
Right, because I got confused. I thought I was giving my kids autonomy. Turns out I'm just a lazy parent. There's a difference. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, the difference is probably less than you think later on. Oh. Early on, like if you get it right early, you get to be really lazy later. But in the early stages, it's really about involvement, right? Like your kids are struggling, and you can be lazy and say, sort it out. Or you can say, hey, let's work on this. Let's problem solve. Let's collaborate and fix this. And then as they learn those skills, because you're teaching them to internalize them, once they get a bit older, you can actually be that much more lazy because they know how to figure it out. A quick reminder is all it takes.
I love this advice.
So do you think all parents have a parenting style already, or are we just sort of winging it?
I think there's a bit of both to this. Like, you think about the kind of parent you are on a nice, quiet Saturday morning compared to the kind of parent you are on a Monday morning when the kids can't go to school, right? So pressure and stress, whether you've eaten, whether the kids have eaten, how tired you are, that all kind of factors into the way you show up as a parent. But even with that, researchers have found that we do predominantly lean one way or another in terms of our parenting style. So it's a bit of both.
What's wrong with an alternative parenting style where I know what's best for my kids, so I tell them how it's going to be until they turn 18 and then they can sort it out?
So there's one key word that answers that question, Jesse, and the word is internalization. Basically, this is kind of like the whole, when I was younger, my dad once said to me, son, if I ever catch you doing that, so help me, there'll be trouble. And I looked at him and smiled and said, don't worry, Dad, you won't catch me. I'll be really sneaky. And that's kind of what happens when we do the my way or the highway. The kids just get really sneaky. They might be perfect in front of you, but they will get away with everything as soon as you turn your back. When we work through an autonomy supportive, needs supportive parenting approach, what we're saying is, hey, kiddo, I want to collaborate with you. Let's figure this out so that we can both feel good about the direction we're going. And the studies show that kids who have parents like this do better at school. They behave more pro-socially, and they avoid the alcohol, the drugs, the promiscuity, the delinquent behaviour, all the stuff that gets them into strife. They're much more likely to give us good outcomes, well-being, resilience, the whole lot.
Well, Justin, I wish you were my dad. Thanks so much for your time.
That's kind of weird, but I'll take that as a compliment.
Welcome along to the project, everyone. Look, Josh Thompson's with us here tonight. Nice to see you, Josh.
Hello, wonderful to be here.
Yeah, we usually have a live audience, but the rain in Auckland means we've cancelled that. We've got some wonderful crew who are making up the numbers. Thank you, crew.
You're our heroes.
Yeah, and free parenting advice tonight as well, Josh.
Oh, yes. I mean, I've got kids at home. that are mine, and I mean, one thing I found really useful is that when I get really angry or really frustrated, I think of myself in the future being an old man and sitting in a house with no little feet running around, and I'm looking back at me now, because I already miss my kids being little. I already miss them being little babies, and they're like, I've got limited time with them, and like, am I making the most of this time by being angry and grumpy with them? And usually it's my fault for having too high expectations, or, you know, like, does it really matter if we're late to where we're going? Like,
You are wrong.
I wish you were my dad too.
I don't think any parent thinks they're doing it right. I don't think that we all feel like we're not being a great parent. There's no parent out there that goes, I am nailing it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you've been on Instagram recently, but
I was on Instagram. I read those parenting poems on Instagram. I find quite inspiring. It was saying that exact same thing, that one time in the future we will be in our homes with our partners, it'll be totally quiet, nothing will be happening, and we will miss the chaos. Don't you think you miss the chaos?
No, but it doesn't help in the moment. After 5 minutes, I'm bored of making this thing with my kids.
Well, you are not ready.
I know it, but it doesn't help.
And
I'm still bored.
sad about being a grumpy parent and sad about being an old person that's going to die.
Don't worry.
Ruined everything, Tomo. Why do we even get him on the show?
just go hide in the toilet like the rest of us.